Hey Ayushi, thank you so much for inviting me over here. Regarding myself, I have been working for 7 years in pharmaceutical supply chain in multiple MNCs in India. And currently, I am associated with Lupin as manager in supply chain, where I look after demand planning for make to order markets. Educationally, I have completed my bachelor's in pharmacy and then MBA in operations management. uh, to your surprise, I was the only one female candidate in the batch of operations at that time, because hardly in 2016, hardly girls opted for operations and supply chain. And having been worked in this industry from past 7 years, I am observing now from last 2 years the female count is increasing. But when I joined, it was same a place where 90% males were working, and I, as a female, had joined over there. So yeah, the title ladies leadership and logistics, quite I can relate to the title, and I'm happy to join you and meet you over here.
I'm so glad to hear that, Prajakta. Thank you. And yes, that is exactly what I'm planning to do with the whole platform. I'm trying to make a change. I'm trying to bring the sector into spotlight, especially for women. As you just said, that it's so normal to think that it is a male dominated sector, which it really is. But knowing that there is change happening is indeed true. And firstly, you look very beautiful in that sari. You look extremely happy, gorgeous, and smiling.
Thanks a
Is there
lot, Ayushi.
yes? And is there any special thing about the sari? I would love to know more.
The special thing is this sari, it belongs to my mother, and I, being an Indian, I am well associated with my motherland and my culture. So whenever I wear a sari, I feel I'm more confident and have a positive and strong aura around me.
It is definitely showing and glowing on your face. And
Thank you.
I'm sure it's Auntie's magical sari that is working so well for you.
Sure, it will work.
Also, I would like to congratulate you for your recognition as under 30 supply chain superstar. It is indeed, especially in the pharmaceutical sector, it is critical that medicines reach their patients on time. So very well done on the journey, and I as well as other people around you are definitely very proud of you.
Thanks a lot.
So, Prajakta, my first question would be you have moved from strategy and analytical to demand planning to global operations and won such a high level title along the way. So, let's start from the very beginning. How did you find your way into supply chain after pharmacy? Did it feel like a natural transition or like a very bold move?
I feel it was a bold move at the time when I joined my MBA in 2016. Therein, in first year, every girl was opting for HR, either HR or operation or marketing at that time.
Mhm.
So for me, going to operations, which was majorly dominated by people having mechanical engineering background in their bachelors,
Mhm.
I, as a B Farm graduate, was I mean, there were people who were like, no, you don't go for it, there's no scope for women in it. Females are not, they don't get job in operations, or if they get job, they will get job on shop floor and all. But numbers were something I
Yeah.
always loved, and operations is day in day out playing with your with numbers, forecasting activities, planning, then calculating what are the risk involved if you don't supply the product on time. So that is what always attracted me, and that's the reason I opted for operations. I was only one female candidate in a batch of 20 students who opted for operations over there. I completed it, and yes, at that time during placements, generally what students think, ki whatever company comes, whichever sector it is, we will opt and we'll take the placement. My focus was very clear. It has to be a pharmaceutical company, and the job has to be in supply chain, either
Wow.
or nothing. I'm not at all proceeding with my career with any kind of adjustments. This mindset was
Definitely.
quite clear.
Wow, I love the clarity that you have, Project. And I believe that it is your clarity that got you to such a high level that you are in right now. And one person only in a full male dominated batch is a lot of, takes a lot of courage. And I wanted to ask, like, how did the transition feel? Like, from going to from entering a sector where you are questioned that, hey, would you even get a job that you really want, to being so successful? How do you feel has the transition happened? Was it something you knew would come along? Was it filled with doubts? What was it?
I knew it will come along because I trusted my hard work at that time, Ayushi.
Wow. It is definitely a very, very important thing to know, to trust yourself. And your
Yes.
role at Lupin, it deals definitely with highly time sensitive pharma supply. For students like us, it's we're still trying to understand what sector in even after logistics we'll enter into. Especially for me, I am really, really excited to know about the link between pharma and logistics. So could you please tell me how are the two reliable on each other, and what makes pharmaceutical supply chain so unique and challenging?
Both are interdependent, Ayushi. Because this product, a pharmaceutical product, is a medicine which is a life savior, and it has to reach market at a particular time with particular cost. So your operating cost, the supply chain cost, has to be minimal so that it fits in the pricing and the affordability of that particular crowd which you are addressing to.
Mhm.
So the major challenges which supply chain in pharmaceutical industry faces is clarity of what has to be sent and what has to be I mean, how it has to be shipped. But however, we in industry, the people have developed certain kind of systems that they are well aware which product will go by sea, which has to which will be maintained in cold temperature. Even we have data loggers which keep tracking the temperature at regular intervals of time whenever the shipment is in transit. So that is all these sister systems help us to ship our products, and day in day out we see improvements in shipping industry. This is what a pharma supply chain is always looking up for. And when it comes to supply chain, today
Mhm.
we have certain delivery platforms which deliver products on time, FMCG products in 10 minutes of time. So Ayushi, one day even this pharmaceutical products would have, there will be a time when these have to be delivered within 10 minutes to the customer in bulk. So that much agility and that much dynamic things are happening in the market. And as an industry, as a supply chain person, whatever your company is, whatever your product is, the only mindset which a supply chain person has to carry is, I need to adapt to market's demand. The market is God, and I have to suffice the demand.
Wow, thank you so much for that special sentence that is going to stick in my mind forever when I think of supply chain. So, as I would like to put it, is we can say supply chain is equals to adaptability. Correct?
Yes,
So, you
yes.
like, how does a day in the life of a supply chain pharmacist look like? What are the monthly demand plannings that you deal with? How typical is your day? I would love to know more about your day specifically.
So, supply chain, uh, being very passionate about supply chain, Aishi, I would tell you that this subject is such which I can implement in my personal life also.
Wow.
The the best inventory manager is available in every household, which is our mother.
Mother,
And
definitely.
she knows very well that if milk is low lead time product, it has to be brought regularly. The shelf life is of 1 or 2 days, how it has to be stored. So this is what is practiced in pharmaceutical supply chain also, but to a higher level, to a commercial perspective. For example, when you come to certain raw materials or certain packing materials for that matter, they have to be maintained in controlled temperature or controlled humidity, control condition wherein the relative humidity, the environment of that area has a certain set of references. So also they have a particular amount of lead time, particular amount of shelf life. If the shelf life for a material is 5 years, doesn't mean that I can use it all through 5 years. Every year I have to retest the material and see if it meets the specific requirements which are required for product to be manufactured. Because as I mentioned, this is highly critical product. You
True.
cannot use a packing material which is contaminated by microbes to pack an injectable item. Understood? It has to be that much. It has to be that much micro free, 99.0099%. So what we do is we do track the material on basis of categorization. Some companies have ABC level of categorization. Some companies use runner repeater stranger strategy, basis on which they know which is high lead time material, what has to be ordered, what is the MOQ, what is our budgeted requirement. And they have annual requirements available for each product on basis of budget or the forecast. On basis of that, they calculate it and procure the products. But if you see day in day out, that too in MTO markets, is such that this market is highly dynamic. You never know when the results of tenders are declared. Even if the government, any country's government, even if they say by June and you will get the results, they may delay it or prepone it. If they delay it, then you can say it's
Im-
something relaxing. You have ample amount of time. But if they prepone it, then you need to
yeah.
run for the raw materials for the procurement. Because as a supply chain person, as a demand planner, my job is to make the material available at the plant for conversion. If the material doesn't get converted within the stipulated time of 30 days, suppose the lead time for conversion is 30 days, then that is not my KPI. That comes in plant's KPI. But if material is not available, then till the end, even if you delay it by 1 day also, now you are at blame. Because as a supply chain person, material movement is something which is main part. Second, coming to forecasting. So for forecasting, always remember there are only three things which you can refer: historical sales, your budget, and upcoming forecast if it is provided by the market. So if even if it is MTS market or MTO market, your forecast is always dependent on all three parameters. These are the basis how you create a forecast. Then there are different methods. Normally, people use Excel sheets, some do statistical forecasting and all. These are methods which will give you a proper forecast. But at the end, your references are also always historical sales, your budget, and any expert forecast which is given to you by marketing or something like that, or any upcoming tender or something which is there. Now, when there's a constraint, then prioritization is also a demand planner's job. For example, you have forecasted 100 products, that comes up to 250 batches, but the plant's capacity is of 200 batches only. What you will do? You need to cut down certain products, but you need to cut it down in such a way that it creates low impact on the market. And for sure, jo 50 batches which you have cut down, they get it in the next month. Again, in next month, there is again firefighting that you are not giving us this product, that product. But somewhere you need to adjust, and that gap has to be filled in. So this is how a demand planner works. For imagining a day, you have to track the packing material also, if it is reaching or not, if it is taken online. Today only there was one order which I was following up. 7 batches were under packing. Only 2 batches were completely packed, and I was literally screwing up the supply planners. Ki, why? Kyun 3 batch kyun nahi kiya? Why you didn't pack 3 batches today? I need documents for so and so order of this 3 batches.
True.
So this firefighting is always there uh, in supply chain. Then
Yes.
coming to gender, I don't believe in gender biases, but when you deal with the plant, 90%, 99% of the time, you deal with males. You deal with people who are not from management background. They are technical people. They only understand their job. So to convince them, you need to overpower them sometimes. So there comes your emotional intelligence, your communication skills. I have worked in Ahmedabad for 3 years, Gujarat, India being a multilingual country. When I worked in Gujarat, at that time, the people whom I dealt with were Gujaratis, mostly Gujaratis. So sometimes you need to speak the local language also. Being born and brought up in Mumbai, a Maharashtrian, I used to learn Gujarati after going home. And in meetings, I used to use certain words or certain jargons which would help me to make a connection with them, to make that bond so that in next planning cycle, next month's planning cycle, they listen to what I'm saying. So
Oh
this is
my
how
God.
things work. This is how
Yes.
things work. And wherever you go, if you have to get the output from shop floor people, this is specifically to the manufacturing sector, you need that connection. These people are very humble. They listen to you. But the time till the time you bond with them,
Yes.
that's where a real challenge is. But I would say I enjoyed doing it because again, delivering your order in the market on time is what I always aspire for.
I really loved the entire explanation. It's like it felt like I was talking to like my elder sister who would explain things like a small child to me, so I would understand it. And that is really very important for what I'm doing right now. This platform is not only for people in our sector, but even people who want to learn about the sector. I have a lot of friends who are in marketing, HR, and they are really excited to watch. And I was going to ask you that can you please explain in detail, but you already did it so beautifully that I'm sure they'll understand it without me having to explain them the terms also. And
I
it's
thought you would say that it was quite longer, just shorten it up.
no, I loved the detail. You know, it's like whenever I am talking to someone, I have to ensure that I keep the flow of the conversation because they might speak short answers. Because for me, I'm more interested in knowing your side. I would love bigger answers because I'm here to learn, and so are our audience. We want to listen as much as advice, insights that you can provide us. We are more than happy to know. And everything that you said, I could imagine in front of my eyes. You are trying to communicate with them that please, mani jao, maru kaam kari do. The whole Gujarati thing that we do when we are trying to convince that please, I need it on time.
ડિમાન્ડ ઓછું
Ah,
થાય બધા order pack કરી દો. This
wow,
is
so
what
you
I
have
used to
potential
do.
there.
Yeah, I still
Exactly.
remember, I still can read it properly. I can
Yeah.
understand it completely, but yeah, since last 3 years I have lost touch with the language. I'm not sure if I could speak it fluently as I used to do earlier.
But it is great. Like I can imagine, like for me, because it's just been 6 months that I've started my masters, I'm still to experience the real world. And listening to your story, I'm like, oh my God, it is getting real. In some years, I might be in your shoe coordinating with someone that,
For sure,
probably
for sure.
if I'm in Mumbai, I don't speak Marathi. I might have to speak Marathi. If I'm in Belgium,
Yes.
I'm right now, I might have to speak in Dutch. So it's gonna be
Yes,
a
you need to. See, language is something which will help you convey your emotions. And see, even if it is corporate, people tell you be practical, but at the end, to get your work done, you need to have certain amount of emotional intelligence also.
definitely.
IQ is something different, but EQ is something which you need to have. And to manage that EQ with other people, you need to get adjust to
Connection.
them. So to connect
Yeah.
with them, language is the best thing.
Definitely. If like you have worked with so many high stake clients, I read about UNDP, PAHO, and Global Fund. Like it builds a lot of pressure. Like, how do you manage that pressure of dealing with high level clients? Is there a special skill that I need to know? Is there a special way of doing it? I'm gonna assume you're gonna say EQ in this one as well. But along with that, what are the other skills?
Just give me 2 minutes. I'll switch on my charger because
Okay, no
it's
worries. Yes.
yeah. Okay, so Ayushi, whenever you say high pressure, first thing I would like to tell you, nothing in life comes easy. So better stop using this word in your life.
Okay.
And whatever comes, always try to prepone your priorities, always try to prepone your work. If you become someone who always postpones things now, then meeting the market demand becomes difficult. I have an order, just today's example, I have an order which has to be serviced in November month. Still today, from today, I'm following up for the raw material and packing material of that order so that it reaches in September, it gets packed in October, and in November it is shipped away. So proactiveness is something which is highly required in supply chain. And yeah, pressure, high pressure. These clients are, they play on OTIFs. OTIFs is in time, sorry, on time in full. So the quantity, whatever is mentioned in PO, suppose 10,000 packs for certain product, that has to be serviced in full and on time. If the due date is, for say, we are on 27th of June today, then the due date is 28th of August. It has to be serviced before 28th August. And you hardly get a lead time of 40 to 60 days to service any order if you're dealing with these clients. There are multiple players in the market who play on OTIF basis, who have high inventory levels, and they have that much capacities wherein they can turn around immediately and service these customers. So when you belong to a company which is dealing with these markets or these type of customers, you need to be proactive enough. You need to order certain materials which are common. For example, at our home also, we have rice which is common material. It goes in different types of recipes. You need to have a particular amount of stock of that material so that you're not stock out when a certain amount of order comes in.
Definitely.
Similar materials are available in pharmaceutical sector also. Even if you go to automobile also, some spare parts are there which are common, and you should never be short of that orders, the stocks of those materials. So this is how planning is being done. And the planning doesn't happen always on paper and Excel sheet. Sometimes it has to be over here. Not sometimes, I think 90% of times it has to be here. Even
True.
in your life, in your personal life now, assuming you might be staying alone over there or maybe with friends, from traveling back home to your from your college, you might be thinking na ki I need to prepare dinner, so on the way I'll buy this that. Why we do it? To save the lead time, right?
Yes. Oh my
Correct.
God, that was such a perfect example. Yes.
Yes, yes, exactly. So if your plant is working on Saturdays, but you as a corporate employees, you cannot say कि Friday ko I have shut down my laptop, I'll not open on Saturday. Sometimes you need to call them up on Saturday and tell कि have you given the purchase order for this material? They are
True.
working, na? Understood?
True.
To save the
Yes,
2 days of lead time. Because what purchase person will
definitely.
say, you didn't give me purchase order on first of the month, you gave it on fifth of the month or third of the month. This will not come in my planning cycle. Then what you will do?
True.
So
Yeah. Oh my
things
God. Yes. What you said is so something that I really need to remember, because currently the best relatable example was the planning, that what will I cook for dinner when I get home? How will I plan my schedule for the next day? The meetings that I'm conducting right now, each and every podcast, because it is true. Any little change might mess up the whole plan.
correct.
So pre-planning is a best way of functioning. Like currently I wanted to ask, like right now, since I'm still studying, is there any skill that I should work on not the soft ones, because soft skills indeed are the most important ones, as you pointed out, but in terms of the technical skills, like how do I work on my, make them so strong that I'm ready when I enter the sector? Is there
You're
any
never
things that?
ready. You're
Oh,
never ready to enter the sector because each industry is different. As a fresher, what industry expects from you is a kind of learning attitude, attitude wherein you are humble enough to accept that the person who is training you, maybe that person is not that much educated or from that much background which you come from. You might be from a very high B school, that person is normal school graduate also, but still what he is doing from years, 30 years, 40 years, you deal with these type of peoples in plants, so you need to understand कि क्या करते हैं. At the
yeah,
end, after understanding the whole work which they do, which they say, no, we do lot of work, you understand कि हाँ, they only do a operational job.
part of it,
ठीक है?
yes.
But still, the way you communicate with them will help you learn new things. Coming to technical skills, I think if you're good with your Excel, with all shortcuts, PowerPoint and all, then that's good enough because every company has different type of tools for analysis. For like some use Power BI, there is Tableau used by many companies. So all those tools you can learn when you enter the organization. When I entered in the industry, SAP was practiced for running the MRP cycle. MRP cycle is material requirement planning cycle.
Thank
Now,
you.
in industry, yeah, in industry, Kinaxis is a software which is widely used. That maybe after 4 5 years, there will be something new which will come. So every time you need to just upgrade your technical skills. That you need to learn of as and when required. As of now, what you can develop is your attitude, the clarity which you want, because mostly masters student I have seen, we are okay if we go to consulting job, but just tell me, Ayushi, if you don't know anything of that industry, only by taking data from that particular industry and just making certain amount of presentations or analyzing their own data, can you be able to answer all the questions? I have worked with consultants also, consultants from BCG, consultants from Accenture, then there are some Deloitte and all these companies, but certain time they just goof up. And we are what there's a phrase which we use for consultants. They will look at your own watch and tell you what is the time. You know, any given day, you know what is the problem. Why a company, manufacturing company approaches a consultant is for a
Yeah,
solution. Yeah, there are some consultants who are very experienced and all. They are very smart. They can answer. They know what technical things go in. But unless and until you study or you experience that technicalities in your career, in starting phase of your career, you will not be able to be a good consultant also. So this is what I would advise you, ki try to develop your attitude, try to develop a mindset wherein you have clarity what you have to do. It doesn't matter that 95% of your the crowd is against you. What matters is you are with you.
definitely. And I think, Prajakta, you are the best role model for this sentence that you just made. You were the only one, only female who was in your class full of 20 men, and still you succeeded so beautifully. And hearing about your passion speaks for you. The whole podcast, I would say you were so passionate and you explained everything like like you would explain it to a small child. And I think that skill of explaining like a small child comes only when you are so passionate to explain, to let the other person feel your story. So
Yes.
thank you very very much for giving us such high level, helpful and relatable insights and about the sector, the demand planning, the whole leadership mindset, the attitude, and especially talking about how our moms are the best people to learn from when it comes to this sector. It has been a pleasure having you here today and learning so much from you. Thank you
Thanks a
once
lot,
again for
Ayushi.
joining me.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you.